Hi everyone, welcome to the user registration workshop today. So we will talk about how to add new teachers account, how to add new student account, and how to arrange classes when needed, and how to add new subjects, and also some relevant admin operations. We will talk about the admin operations first. So how to log in as an administrator. So if you have received an account paper via email, please click on Sign in with Florida using your admin account ID. But if you have been granted the permission via Google, please click on Sign in with Google. And how to grant admin permission individually. So obviously sharing an admin account among multiple teachers is not recommended. But if joint management is desired, individual administrative permissions can be granted. So go back to your admin menu, click on Teachers, and find the teacher's name. And click on Grant Admin Permission, and click on Grant. So please also keep your devices, applications, and browsers updated to the latest versions at all times. Then we will talk about how to check the usage statistics. So go back to your admin menu, click on Report, and click on Usage Statistics and find the school name, and change the period, and click on Export. So we can confirm the usage for up to 3 months. Now let's jump to the user registration. The purpose of doing user registration is to set up the accounts, classes, and subjects for the upcoming year. And this user registration is designed for the school who has never used LoyalNote before. If you have already used LoyalNote before, please click on End of Year Account Processing. And the purpose and the process is pretty simple. Upload the Excel file to the Loyalos Cloud server. As an administrator, please pass the registered login details to the teachers. But if you are using Google or Microsoft for registration, you can just use the preset password, which means this PDF file is only available for the school who are using Loyal ID. So for the teachers, they can then create subjects and guide the students to use LoyalNote. And again, if your school is using Google or Microsoft for registration, you can just use a preset password. This piece of paper is only for the school who are using Loyal ID for login. Now let's jump on the flow. The flow for user registration is pretty simple too. Setting up accounts, classes, and subjects. So let's say this is a school. Then we obviously need classes. Within the classes, we've got teachers and students and also the subjects. So for user registration, this is what we will do. We will set up the classes and subjects and then pair with the teachers and students like this. So let's talk about the flow again. We will add new teachers, student account, arrange classes when needed, and add new subjects. So when we look into each step, we have to download the Excel template, fill out the template, upload the prefilled Excel, then return to the admin console and proceed to the next step. So all of these steps goes back to each of these steps. So before we jump into creating accounts, As we talked about, there will be 3 ways to create new account. The first one is add Loido account. The second one is add Google account. And the third one is add Microsoft account. So you only need to choose one. So you don't have to add Loido account first and then add your Google account. You don't have to. What you need to do is either pick Loido ID or just pick the Google account. But for today's workshop, we will explain how to do it one by one. So let's start with how to add Loido Teachers account. So go back to your white admin menu, select Teachers, and click on Batch Process by Excel and click on Add with Loido ID. Download the Excel template. So this is one of the examples I've prepared. So this is the teacher's full name. This is the user ID. You can choose to fill out the short key or not. Then once you finish, click on Choose File. Select the file and click on Open. And click on Start Import. So here, we would like to check the name, the user ID, and also the explanations in here. It says create a new user. So once this appears to be a pink box, which means there is something goes wrong inside the registration, don't panic. Go back, preview your Excel, just fix your Excel, and then upload it and do the import again. So once you check everything and it's fine, please click on Import. Make sure to print or download the Excel file because they will have the school ID, user ID, and the password. So once you have finished, make sure to distribute these account papers to the teachers. So this is only applicable for those of you who are using Loido ID. And we will talk about how to do the Google account connection in a second. So for the next step, let's say you've already created a Loido ID, but then you want it to link with the Google address. That's what we do. It's called Connect Teachers Account with Google. So again, go back to the page. This time, click on Connect Loido ID and Google account. For Microsoft, it's the same. So download the Excel template. And this is one of the example. So this is the Loido ID, and this is the email address. Make sure you fill in properly. And once you finish, click on Choose File and select the file we have just previewed and click on Open. Click on Start Import. So this time again, make sure to check the user ID and check the Google address. And also in here, it should be connect with Google account. But if it says in here, create a new account, there's something goes wrong. So again, go back, change your Excel, and then do the import again. So click on Import. And you will see that there is a mark next to the user ID. So the account connection is now complete. So for those of you who wanted to only use Google account for registration, this is a step you should be follow. So click on Add Google Teachers Account. Again, go back to the main screen. Click on Batch Process by Excel. Click on Add with Google Account. So please bear me for a sec. I would like to repeat. So as you can see that when you click on Batch Process by Excel, you can either add with Loido ID or choose Google account or Microsoft account. So again, just choose one of them. If your school is using Google, please select the second one. So please don't add Google ID and then add Google account. So you only need one set of account. Okay, add with Google account again and download Excel template. So this is the template look like. So here, enter the Google email address, and it's up to you if you wanted to fill out the short key. And name in here, please fill in the full name of the teachers. If you don't fill it out, for the admin page, it will only appear the email address. Then go back to it and choose File. Click on Google Teachers and click on Open. Click on Start Import. So again, please check your Google address, match with the name. If something goes wrong, don't panic. Go back again, fix your Excel and import. Click on Import. And the registration is now complete. So once we finish the teacher's registration, we will then jump to the student's account. So again, if your school is using Google only, just select Add Google Students Account. But if your school is using Loyal ID, please choose Add with Loyal. But today we will explain all of them. So go back to your admin menu and choose Students. And click on Batch Process via Excel. Click on Add with Loyal ID. So again, you just need to choose one. If your school is using Loyal ID, choose one. And if your school is using Google account, please select the number 2. And then again, download Excel template. And this is one of the example if you're using Loyal ID. So make sure you fill in grades and classes, and the student's name and the user ID. So it's optional if you wanted to fill out the short key or not. Okay, again, choose File. Select Loyal Students. And click on Open. Click on Start Import. So in here, we would like to make a comment. So for the start and end date, so this is something that it's not going to preview. So it's up to your school schedule. If your school starts at 9 September, just fill out the date. If your school finish at July or June, please also fill out the date. The important point here is what we call the end of year account processing. So if when we're doing user registration, the start and end date has been set. So let's say next year when the 30th of July, these classes and the subjects will be automatically closed or end, or what we call archive to the documents. Then you don't have to do any extra stuff. So what we strongly recommend is please set up the start and the end date. Because when we do the end of year account processing, if you don't have this detail, it will be very difficult. Okay, once you finish, click on Start Import. And again, we will strongly recommend you to fill out the graduation date. You can change it after that. But the good points for filling out the graduation date is, so let's say in 2028, the 30th of July, this student will be automatically graduate. So you don't have to manually graduate the students when we do the end of year account processing. Okay, so let's say you fill out the details. Make sure you check everything. It's correct. So if you make it wrong, it will be very difficult for us to fix it after that. So click on Import. And make sure to print or download Excel file because it has a school ID, user ID, and the password. Make sure to give the account papers to the students. But if your school is using Google, don't worry about this one. So again, we will also talk about if, let's say you've already set up a Loyal ID, you want the students to use their Google account. So you can obviously connect the account with Google. For those of you who wanted to use the Google account straight away, please wait for a while. We will talk about it very soon. Okay, go back to the screen to batch process by Excel. Click on Connect Loyal ID and Google account. Again, download the Excel template. So this is one of the example too. So here, make sure to fill out the user ID, and here is the email address. Once it's finished, click on Choose File, click on it and click on Open, and click on Start Import. And again, here is the Loyal ID, and this is the email address we wanted to use. And check the explanations in here. It should be connect with Google account. But if it says create a new account, there must be something goes wrong. So again, go back, change your Excel template, and upload it again. If you check everything is fine, click on Import. And you can see that next to the user ID, there is the Google mark. So if your school is only using Google, this is something that we're going to do. So you go straight to the batch process by Excel, click on Add with Google account. Download the Excel template, and this is one of the example too. So make sure you fill out the grade, the classes, and the student's email address. And it's optional if you wanted to use the short key or not. But for the name, we will strongly recommend it. This is not optional. Just fill out the student's full name so that we can allocate the students and pair with their Google account. Once you finish, click on Choose File and upload the previewed Excel. Click on Open. Click on Start Import. And again, like the previous registration, we will strongly recommend it. You fill out the start and end date, because at the end of the year, what we call the end of year account processing, if you have already previewed the date of the courses, let's say by the end of July, this group will be ended and archived. So you don't have to do extra, you don't have to put extra effort. Okay, again, for the graduation date, we strongly recommend it you set it up, because at the date of, let's say at the end of July, the grade 6 students will be automatically graduated. So you don't have to put extra effort. Again, check all the details. If something goes wrong, go back and fix your Excel. Click on Import. And you can see that the mail address registration has been complete. Okay, since we've already previewed the students with the classes, so in this step, if there's nothing need to be added, you don't have to do it. But we will talk about it, let's say if you wanted to fix something. So again, if you don't have to change anything, you don't have to do this step. But if you wanted to edit, you can. So go back to group of classes. Let's say you wanted to change the detail. Let's say you wanted to change the name or change the grade and change the course period. Obviously, you can. And if you wanted to add students, you can also. Okay, so once we finish, it will be our last step is to add new subjects. So there will be two ways to add subjects. The first one is in the admin console. So click on subjects. And again, click on import. We will just use upload regular subjects, which is what we call the compulsory subjects, and download Excel template. So this is one of the example. So make sure you fill up all the subjects in here, and in here, the teacher in charge. So this is not the teacher's name. It's either Loyal ID or the Google or Microsoft address. So please check all the details. Nothing goes wrong. Click on Choose File and upload Excel. Click on Start Import. And again, we will strongly recommend you to change the start and end date based on your school schedule, because like classes, subjects will be archived or will be closed when the day comes. So click on Start Import. So if you're using batch import, the template will allow 2 teachers to be filled out at the same time. But if you wanted to add more, there'll be other ways. So again, check all the details. If nothing goes wrong, click on Import. Then you can see that the subjects were successfully imported. Then they will have the class in here. Under the class, we'll have all the subjects and the teacher in charge, including the start date and the end date. And there will be also another way to add new subjects, which is in the user interface, which is the blue Loiro operation screen. So let's say if you're using iPad, find the class, enter the subject, and click on Create. And click on Create and click on Close. Or if you're using a web version, it's the same, but it's only the surface looks a little bit different. Click on Create and click on OK. And click on Close. So we talked about how to set up the classes in for compulsory subjects. So let's say you wanted to set up the subjects for electives. Then what we will suggest is the teacher in charge first create a class and create subjects. Then the students shall use the class code to enter the classes. The reason why was because, let's say in 1A, I've got one student who wanted to study Japanese and another student wanted to study Italian. So we will suggest the teacher who taught Japanese will set up a class called Japanese and select a subject and create a subject called Japanese 2, and then invite the student to use the class code to enter. So compulsories, we will require or suggest the administrator to create, but for electives, we will recommend that they just create it straight away. So let's say this is Japanese class, and this is the Japanese subjects. Click on Create, click on Create. Make sure to memo the class code. And then we will invite the student to enter the class code to join the class and subjects. Click on Close. So once we finish, we will then talk about the other relative informations. So let's say you are using Loilo ID and you wanted to update users' information by utilizing specific password. So we will have password requirement. First one, mixed with letters and numbers, at least 6 characters long, different from the surname or family name or last name, first name. Each password is unique. And all students are required to have a separate password. So please, we are not really recommended to use a student's birthday because they might mix up, or maybe they might be born at the same date. But if your school is using Google or Microsoft account for connection, we will not require a change of password in Loilo. So let's say you wanted to change the password and click on Update Users. So remember, this operations is not applicable if you're using Google or Microsoft login. So this is one of the example. So again, once you finish, click on Choose File, click on Update User Students. Click on Start Import. And you don't have to touch anything if there's nothing needs to be changed. Again, select the user ID, check the name, check if there's update existing users. then the student information should be updated. So today's notes will be passed to you after the workshop. So if you're using a web version, so I will just click on three dots and click on export. Then I will export today's note. Then when you go back to your school, click on three dots and click on import. Select the .loider note, click on start. So that all my notes can be used straight away. If you're using iPad or iPhone, it just looks a little bit different. So again, I will export my data first. I will obviously save it. Again, when you go back to your school, again, select three dots and click on import. Find the .loider note folder, click on open, click on start. And the import should be completed. And the notes is there for you to use. We obviously have manuals to support today's workshop. So go to Google and search Loider Note School English Manual. And we've got English manual looks like this. So if you have any questions, if you're not sure, please go and look at our manual. Obviously, we have Loider support. So if there's anything you need to verify or you need some support, please send an email to us at global@loider.tv. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.